Let me introduce you to Bethany. She's 15 years old. She knows a lot about social media, or so you'd think. It's where she spends most of her time. It's where she gets most of her news, talks to her friends. But when asked if she agrees with this statement, I have a good understanding of the techniques content creators use to make a video perform well, she disagrees. When I ask her to list the ways in which users might use video to promote harm, go viral, or promote positive social change, all she can articulate is how some influencers edit their videos to make their bodies look different. In my 1 hour with Bethany, an hour she's never had before, everything changes. At the end, she agrees. Now she says she believes she has a good understanding of techniques creators use to go viral. And then she shows me her understanding. Creators promote harm by editing their bodies, spreading fake news. They use trends and hooks at the start of their videos to try and go viral. And they promote positive social change with content like educational videos or recipes. Who am I? Why was I in Bethany's school? And why should more people like me get the privilege to reach more people like her? I'm Sophia Smith-Gaylor. I'm an award-winning journalist and author from the UK, and I'm also a content creator with over 135 million views on TikTok. I deliver explainers and stories to over 500,000 followers around the world, and I get a lot of benefit from the same platforms that I investigate every day. I grew up with social media, and I now work in it, with it, in spite of it. And on a daily basis, I see online harms in young people who know they exist, but aren't prepared to deal with them. And on a daily basis, I see online harms and grown-ups who experience exactly the same thing. 62% of British citizens don't realise their social networks can affect the news they see. And I'm not surprised by that, because traditionally, media literacy is shoehorned in schools into sex education classes or physical, social, and health education classes. And pupils don't do exams in these, so they aren't always prioritised as lessons. Research also shows that the minute you turn 15, you get less of these lessons centred around media literacy, right at the time when you're probably getting more interested in posting online, thinking about your future job. Most of these resources are also in the form of worksheets, which are delivered by teachers, and typically they're quite doom and gloom, all harm mitigation. Most of these resources see harm and fear and concern, and I want to see more opportunity. For example, these are the resources that the government currently directs to for schools, all harm mitigation. But where does the child who's already posting online learn how to turn it into a job one day? Where does the child learn how they could use this platform, like one of their heroes, to combat racism, or highlight wrongdoing, or become a pop star, or inspire others? What do we do with a third of children who aspire to become a YouTuber? You want to protect your children. You also want them to get a job when they grow up. You want them to be employable. So here is my cunning plan. We can create resources that set us up for the good and the bad, protection and preparation. Bethany left my session with a far better idea of this holistic vision of vertical video, either whether she wants to work with it one day or whether it simply continues being her main source of news, one of her main search engines. Vertical video is a phrase I will use until everyone knows what it means. Short-form, smartphone-friendly video that has been turbo-boosted in the age of TikTok. It's the content we engage the most with, yet it's the content that so few understand in terms of algorithms, techniques, agendas. Who better to shape and deliver a resource than people on the digital frontline themselves? Creators who make the most engaging content. Creators who are freelance. They have the time for chats and in-person visits to schools. Creators who can speak to the realities of this far better than the newsrooms and charities and platforms who do brilliant work in building resources, but they don't ever fully get it. I'm in the unique position of having seen newsroom media literacy interventions, as well as those run by YouTube and TikTok firsthand. I've seen they are not independent, they are not transparent, and they do not work hard enough to centre the role or autonomy of content creators in this current information and entertainment climate. So that's what I did. I built a resource marketed as a careers talk that I've called the Creator Literacy Initiative, not marketed as an online media literacy intervention, although of course that's what it is. It was informed by my creator experience and the experiences of my colleagues, and I've constructed a lesson plan. With all my video and public speaking experience, I crafted an engaging, student-first learning experience built from feedback and scaffolded to help them think critically about online video. The lesson plan has a number of parts: a quiz on video, where we go through the answers, a group activity, where we put up post-it notes of positive and negative examples of users making a social impact. There's an example here. We watch videos of creators talking about why they create and how, and then we all have a go at writing a script for a vertical video. Now, some students use 10 to 15 minutes to just generate lots of different video hooks. Some were able to write entire video scripts like this one. We're going to look at some of the elements that they used. Do you have a pet you love and cherish deeply? People with pets are up to 30% less likely to suffer with conditions such as anxiety, depression, and even cancer. Crazy, right? And then at the end, watch till the end to see my furry friend Coda. These are all techniques that we covered in our session. So they used a hook at the top of the script. It's packed full of research and statistics and engagement tactics. Let's look at some more. This one was about Macbeth, which I'm assuming they were studying at the moment. These are the top 5 Macbeth quotes. Who's your favorite Macbeth character? Like for part 2. Again, all of the things we covered in the session. I can see in the script, this was originally top 5 reasons why Love Island should be cancelled, and then they decided 6 reasons. And they really understood the sort of listicle format that we use a lot in online journalism. There's a recipe for meringues. There's an explainer on Biden's Willow project. And what I'm most proud of is what the students came out saying that they had now learned. Remember Bethany? Bethany wasn't alone in not knowing how creators go viral or how they could promote positive social change. And at the start of the class, just 35% of students were able to identify at least one way content creation can promote positive social change. But at the end of it, 85% could identify 1 or 2 ways. And when it came to naming some techniques creators used to go viral, only 15% could identify 1 or 2 at the beginning. After their session with me, 92% could, which begs the question, what happens next? I've developed a successful pilot. I've also developed a limited podcast series that can be used by teachers and parents to build out their knowledge and feel more confident speaking to young people about online media literacy. But for it to reach people, it needs sustainability. Someone needs to help me scale it, otherwise it ends now. It also needs to be so much more than just 1 lesson plan, just 4 podcast episodes. Teachers told me repeatedly they want more resources on online harms connected to dating and more resources on masculinity influences. For my own work, I see an urgent need to build resources around AI, pornographies, wellness marketing, and the students overwhelmingly asked for more information about how algorithms work on different platforms. When the students walked into my classroom, so many of them lacked the vocabulary to talk about the world that they're in every day. They left my class with it. It was the first pilot of the Creator Literacy Initiative, and it needs to be the first of many.